Hi, I'm Miniland, and this is my tutorial video on how to save the 8-1 frame rule, more commonly known as PL8-1. PL8-1 works by doing a perfect fast acceleration, a manipulation to lose exactly 2 subpixels, and a top step FPG, which all come together to barely save 1 frame rule over playing through the level normally. Here's how it works. First of all, you should have access to the PL8 practice ROM before trying this trick, as it will make learning it much easier. If you don't already have it, there is a download link to the IPS patch file at github.com/pelson/smb, which you can then apply to a standard SMB1 single carts ROM using Luna IPS. Once you have loaded up the latest version of the practice ROM, you can make your subpixels show by pressing Start, scrolling down to the Show Sock menu item, and pressing A. With that out of the way, the first part of PL8-1 is the perfect fast acceleration, which can be performed with the inputs left, nothing, right plus A, and right. It's important to note that you must be holding another button during the frame of nothing in order to get the optimal fast acceleration. Most people hold B during fast accel for this reason, but it's just as okay to hold up, down, or even select. But please don't hold select. If you have performed a perfect fast acceleration, you should see the digit underneath the L in rule alternating between 1 and 9, and you can double check that you did it perfectly if you have 3 Koopas here after playing through the first part of the level normally. After that comes the most important part of PL8-1, the subpixel manipulation. If you play through the level as normal without doing any subpixel manipulation, you will have D90 subpixels when jumping to the pole, which is higher than optimal for FPG, and therefore will not work outside of some very specific pole inputs. As a result, you need to lose 2 subpixels somewhere in the level to go from D90 to D70. There are 2 main setups for this, Blaze It setup and Lukuki setup. Blaze It setup is incredibly simple. Hold down plus right after landing from a jump and jump the second frame you land. This should always give you F7 subpixels alternating underneath the L in rule, which sets you up for D70 on FPG. Jumping 1 frame early for this setup won't make you lose any subpixels at all, so you can simply retry the setup until you get F7. The setup is probably the best for an IL setting, but isn't very good for runs as there isn't very good feedback. This is where Lukuki setup comes in. Lukuki setup is slightly harder and you only have 1 shot at it, but it gives excellent feedback and is much more viable for runs as a result of that. To do the setup, you can full jump from around the right side of this fence, hold down plus right mid-air, and slide off this pipe. There are either 2 or 3 frames that you can land on this pipe depending on your coin toss entering the level, but the optimal frame for 7F is always possible. Assuming you have good coin toss with the plant, the first possible frame you land will give you D5 subpixels, the second will give F7, and the third will give 08. Both D5 and F7 subpixels will work for FPG, while 08 will require an extra manipulation. Should you happen to get 08 subpixels, you can just do a very fast right release, or Blaze It setup again to get E6 subpixels, which also works for FPG. Finally, you have to perform a top step FPG, which is much more difficult than a normal FPG. To do this, you need to do a very small jump off of the top step, which will give D70 if you jumped in the correct frame. However, there is no specific good frame that you can jump on due to varying jump heights. To get to this spot, you can either hit this Koopa before End Boy, which despawns the plant in the pipe before the stairs, or jump on the very first step, then do a small jump and a full jump, which sets you up perfectly to do the jump from the top step. If you jump on the correct frame and get D70, you just have to do regular pole inputs, and you should get flagpole glitch. Assuming you didn't get a slow PG, you should be good to get the frame rule. So, if you did everything here correctly, you should be able to get your first PL8-1. Sometime in the next 24 hours, Eyeball will appear in your comment section saying that he's added you to his playlist of everyone that has done PL8-1, and you'll feel a moderate amount of happiness.
I just did PL8-1 on the